Going on to the Disney train.
Is New Orleans. Please remain seated at all times. Keep all hands, arms, feet laid beside the train. If you got little ones, make sure they're seated away from the center open aisle. And don't forget, New Orleans Square station's closed right now, so you won't be able to enter or exit there. So if you're trying to get to Star Wars, Toontown's going to be your next stop. It's available.
We should get off there probably then, or if you want to just ride the whole way around.
We could probably do the whole thing.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember
the Jungle
that for a
Cruise I
safe
could
trip,
see in there.
You need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. Just ahead is New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontierland and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting off. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square Station. New Orleans Square.
Once again, New Orleans Square Station is closed for construction right now, so you won't be able to enter or exit. But we're going to hold here for a moment. We're going to switch out the engineer crews. We're going to put some water in the tank, and then once we get the green light, we'll be departing. So please remain seated at all times.
I'm
We'll
gonna
get going in just a moment.
I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering the bayou, soon to be home to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Princess Tiana swears there's magic out here, and wherever there's magic, there's bound to be surprises. Blue skies and sunshine guaranteed. This place we're passing over is chock full of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh,
They were building that last time we were here.
and other beloved critters on fun-filled adventures where anything can happen. As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. Indian shaman, sharing his stories with those in the great river valley below. People like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams, and the stories that went with them, were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable. Like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness.
He's the only one.
Fox.
There they are.
Going into another tunnel.
This tunnel signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of gear, the ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown, the cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. Have fun.
Once again, please remain seated until the train comes to a full stop. This is Toontown Depot in Fantasyland. This is also your closest stop if you're trying to get to Star Wars.
Mickey's Toontown.
Next stop is Tomorrowland. Please remain seated at all times. Keep all hands, arms, feet, legs inside the train. And if you have little ones, make sure they're seated away from the center open aisle. And just as a reminder, New Orleans Square Station is closed right now due to construction in Haunted Mansion, so you won't be able to enter or exit there.
Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain.
That's cool.
Graveyard.
We're now steaming forward into the future to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters, and, if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings, including lightsabers and astroblasters, and step carefully from the train. Thanks, and have fun in the future. For the rest of you, just sit tight. We'll be on our way again in just a minute.
Again, please remain seated until the train comes to a full stop. Don't forget, New Orleans Square Station is closed right now due to construction, so you won't be able to enter or exit there. So if you're trying to get to Adventureland, Frontierland, Critter Country, or New Orleans, you're going to want to get off at Main Street, the next stop coming up. Thanks. Next stop's Main Street. Please remain seated at all times. Keep all hands, arms, feet, legs inside the train. If you have little ones, make sure they're seated away from the center open aisle. And please turn off any flash photography or lighting before we enter the tunnel up ahead. And for those of you just joining us, New Orleans Square Station is closed right now due to construction, so you won't be able to enter or exit there. So if you're trying to get to Adventureland, Frontierland, Critter Country, or New Orleans, you want to get off at Main Street Station, the next stop coming up.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
Grand Canyon as we know it today. But it wasn't always this way. Now, let's travel back in time, way back in time, to the fantastic past of the primeval world, land of the dinosaurs. We're now returning to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your trip.
Please be advised, Main Street Station only has steps going down. There are no ramps or elevators. Please remain seated until the train comes to a full stop. For those of you continuing on, make sure you move all the way down the bench. Make space for guests who want to board the train, please. And if you're trying to get to Adventureland, Frontierland, Critter Country, New Orleans, this stop right here is going to be your closest stop due to New Orleans Square Station. The next stop being closed.